I'm an artist and a writer, old soldier. Not a day goes by I don't think about the Vietnam era. I was drafted on the 29th of April 1969. Jane Fonda was introduced to the U.S. military right after Alcatraz was taken by Native Americans. She was involved with the Native American movement in early January of 1970. She was inspired by Marlon Brando, who refused to accept the Academy Award for his acting in The Godfather.
One time she says, "Don't joke or I'll have to get a Hindenburg maneuver."
We arrested her after having 5 casualties at Fort Lewis, Washington.
In the service, I had a job, briefly.
2 soldiers died.
Which sounds dangerous, but it's not.
The Indians that were with her were all in the U.S. Army.
If you tell her she doesn't have a choice,
She was released even at the protest of the head of operations, my boss, Major James, because the brass and the politicians emulated her father, Henry Fonda. He was livid. The Native Americans, I called them Indians because they called themselves back then Indians,
This winter,
all were court-martialed. I personally knew one of the guys that died. He was a great guy. He was an Irish-American kid from Brooklyn who was stuck at Fort Lewis, Washington, applying continuously for a compassionate reassignment to the East Coast because his wife was flipping out after he came back from Vietnam. She expected to be reunited with him. He was being held up at Fort Lewis because part of the investigation for the My Lai incident was at Fort Lewis. He was in the Americal Division. Even though he was in R&R, he wasn't there when the massacre happened. He was still being held up. Well, the poor guy didn't make it out alive.
Happiness is calling.
Jane Fonda was just outrageous. The way she acted,
This is a ruthless drug lord. You can't just walk in and say, "Hello."
her manner. We were all there because we were stuck there. We were all doing riot control training because that's what we were doing. Most of us were draftees. And she treated us horribly.
So my pediatrician recommended pediatrician.
Years have gone by, and Megyn Kelly has a feud with Jane Fonda.
My big guy's catching up.
After Jane Fonda brought up more of what happened when she was interviewed by Megyn Kelly, and Megyn Kelly brought up Hanoi Jane. If Jane Fonda had been prosecuted back for the casualties at Fort Lewis, she never would have wound up in Hanoi. She would never, ever have addressed the U.S. troops like Tokyo Rose addressed the U.S. troops in World War II. The public backlash to Megyn Ryan is just unbelievable. They don't think that because it was an incident about plastic surgery that Megyn Kelly had a right to bring up the Vietnam War. But someone should bring up Jane Fonda's history. With all this celebrity harassment news, what about someone that causes humankind's demise, causes the death of people? I could ramble on and on about this. I know a lot of Vietnam era vets are very disappointed that it's not going to seem. It seems to not be going any further. Blah 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 blah. I'm filled with all sorts of thoughts and ideas. Working from a tablet that's in trouble, like I am.
I know what you're thinking. This must be some kind of prank.
I spent my life since the Vietnam War ended, or before that, when I got out of the U.S. Army, on the 13th of September 1972, the last day of the draft. I started trying to do stuff to help people. I didn't see all that much, but what I saw was enough that I wanted to see people helping each other. Now I'm busted, and I hope this gets a lot of hits. Because I hear that YouTube actually pays you if you get hits. Blah, 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 blah.
Lyrics are unapproved and not that funny.
My channel is going to have lots of things, lots of Riley ramblings. That's my name, JC Riley. Don't wear it out. Or maybe please wear it out. Especially if it brings me some revenue so I can continue my cause. I'm trying to start a humanism art foundation to help people.
I have no other weapon.
Which is one reason why I'm in the hole now. I started in 2009, and it's just cost me money. I had a couple corporations that led me on saying they were going to help me, and that fizzled out.
Simpson,
I've talked to celebrities, including one that hired Jane Fonda, who is now the director of Jacob's. Well, I better not mention the name of that. Yeah, Jacob Burns Film School. He has a lot of my film ideas, a lot of my storyline ideas. Any one of them could bring me in enough revenue to keep going. But of course, now he doesn't return my calls. He's probably working on one of my plot lines. One is on the 212 Field Artillery Group, which is the unit that was called up to guard Fort Lawton, which was declared surplus after Alcatraz was declared surplus, which is why the Native Americans took Alcatraz. They found out about Fort Lawton, and they wanted to take that too. Fort Lawton did not have a garrison, so we supplied the manpower. For 2 weeks, all leaves and passes were canceled. Constant alerts and drills. The brass gave us enough ammo to give each man a basic load of 150 rounds for our M14s, 7.62 millimeter. We had 50 caliber machine guns mounted on deuce and a halves. Major James, this really wonderful guy who really knew his stuff, who lied about his age and fought in World War II, stayed in, had 2 tours in Korea. That was the first war where they had tours. Then he had 3 tours in Nam, and he was back in the States, waiting to get out. He was short, and the CIA wanted him. I'll never forget him when I went into Seattle with him at operations, running around like just couldn't believe it, shaking his head like, with our 50 calibers, if the Indians attack, what are they going to attack with? Winchester rifles, bows and arrows? Our 50 calibers are going to be killing people blocks away. He's running around. He's got a brown 45 Holster on, because he always bragged that he was still part of the Brown Army. They changed from brown leather to black leather in the early 60s. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about, I guess, but it's just a little visual thing, a little detail that an artist has. It's a long story. My father came to visit me at Fort Lewis. He sees the officer of the day with black boots and black leather holster, and he says, that guy looks like a Nazi. Because Dad was in World War II, and so was Major James. If you're interested in what I have to say, you want to hear more, please tell your friends about this little spiel.
Got it.
I don't want to see Jane Fonda strung up or anything like some Vietnam era vets do. I know one guy who's written a book about an amazing incident in Nam at a fire base where he saved a lot of lives. He thinks Jane Fonda should be deported. I don't think so. She's a great actress. She won the Academy Award for Clute after this all happened, before she went to Hanoi.
Here's the phone so you can see him. 99.
But she should recognize what she's done, admit it. She half-heartedly apologized to the veterans back in the 80s when she was doing a movie in Waterbury, Connecticut, when the local VFW boycotted and protested the movie site, and they had to move the site of the filming to I think it was upstate New York. Not one outfit accepted her apology, except for Vietnam Veterans Agent Orange victims, which I was a part of.
you move a little to your left, there's a stumble.
I was a volunteer there for a long
Is
time.
there any fad you don't take too far?
One of the main reasons why Jim Sparrow and Frank McCarthy, the heads of the Vietnam Veterans Agent Orange victims, accepted her apology was because she was going to help in a fundraiser
On my belt.
to help children who were born with defects from veterans who were exposed to Agent Orange,
Okay.
who themselves had cancer and they had children that had birth
Didn't
defects.
turn your skunk bath into a giant pond.
What we raised was basically Trump change, pocket change.
Original, groundbreaking.
She could have thrown a whole bunch of money our way just from her fitness exercise video that she had back then.
Workers deserve a newscast.
But like most celebrities today, she was just a self-centered Hollywood starlet.
Fox 5 News.
She's more like the matriarch of Hollywood.
New Yorkers. Here's a look at what's going
When I was a little kid, all my parents,
Sponsored by Kia.
movie star heroes, were all really cool people. Some of them even fought in World War II. Jimmy Stewart
It's a Pac-12 college basketball.
won the Distinguished Flying Cross in the Army Air Corps. He was a bomber pilot, B-17s.
These Fox 5
He stayed in the Air Reserve for years after World War II.
technologically advanced compact CUV. Visit Kia.
When he filmed It's a Wonderful Life,
When did the word value?
he was still in the Army Air Corps.
When did people start to not expect less, but to accept less?
You want to check out my website? It's jamescriley.com. jamescriley.com. REILLY.
With the Sorrento and Optimum made.
My email address is there. Please contact me.
Value. But America-
Pros or cons welcomed.
And right now, you can get a great deal.
I'm for the betterment of mankind.
Gel X for only-
I'm for developing humanity. Right now, I think we're regressing, just to the caliber of the people that are running things.
Fastest internet available for only
Sorry to put you down, but
online with a 2-year
you guys aren't like
Netflix is on us for 1
Jimmy
year.
Stewart and those people back in the day.
100% fiber optic network.
There was honor back then, ethics, integrity, ideals.
Plus Netflix, plus up to 250 TV.
NBC squashing Megyn Kelly on this thing that she started basically because of a feud between two women
Go to getfiles.com to see.
shows a complete lack
I can't believe
of ethics, integrity, and ideals.
Recap.
Riley over and out.